get to. You better go get yourself a drink, okay? Just a minute.
Campbell. Pleasure to be here this evening and welcoming you to the Alaska Health Project South Sudan Wine to Water fundraiser. I hope this music got you off to a good start, and I hope you have a very successful event. Have a great night. Thank you.
Whoops, his sound isn't working. His sound isn't working.
No. Start over.
I was just going to say what she just eloquently said. Thank you, Janet Carr Campbell, for those beautiful tunes before we started the show. It's one of those things I can't believe it's been a long time since I've heard you play, and I'd like to hear more of it. Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to you, wherever you are. Welcome to Wine to Water. This is being done this year virtually only because of immense respect and consideration by both the staff and the director of Wine to Water. And I applaud them for a decision which might not have been reached very easily. In the next hour, we're going to hear from Jack Hickel and many members of the Alaska team, including videos from Kenya, Juba, and Old Fangak. The silent auction is ongoing. Bidding will end at 6 p.m. If you want to bid on items, there's still time. Here's the website where you can go to log in, the bidpal.net address, or you can go to alaskasudan.org. Follow the link. That's all you need to do. And of course, an event like this could not be possible without the generous support of our sponsors. The Hotel Captain Cook, Construction Machinery Industrial LLC, Major Marine Tours, the Boutte Company, Young's Market Company, Partouche Plumbing and Heating, Jermaine Dunnigan and Owens PC. You know, I do this very often and I read sponsors' names a lot, but I want to put in a special plug for all these people. They do this, and what you can do for them is the next time you need a hotel or a construction equipment or a marine tour or any of these from our beautiful sponsors, think of their names and call them up and do some business with them. Let's give a big round of thanks. Oh, wait, a better idea. Let's go to South Sudan for that round of thanks. That's beautiful. That was the kids of Toich, South Sudan. And a special thank you to the Larry Partouche family for sponsoring that borehole. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Jack Hickel, one of the co-founders of the Alaska Sudan Medical Project. Jack is joining us now via Zoom. Jack, are you with us?
Yeah, Paul, thank you. Hi, can everybody hear me okay? Am I coming through okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Great. Yeah, I'm Jack Hickel, president and co-founder of the Alaska Health Project for South Sudan. It used to be called the Alaska Sudan Medical Project, but we changed it because the new name more accurately reflects where we're working and what we're doing. I'd like to, on behalf of the board of directors of APS, is what we call it, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in this afternoon, evening. I think you'll find it an interesting next hour. This is our 12th annual Wine to Water and the second time we've done it virtually. Because some of you may be new to what we're doing, I'm just going to give just a 2-minute quick summary of how we got started and where we're working. I first visited Jill Seaman in what was then Sudan, Africa, at her invitation in 2007. And what I found was just a humanitarian crisis, anything like I'd ever seen. We're invited there by Dr. Jill Seaman. As you can see there, she works part-time in South Sudan, part-time in Bethel, Alaska. And she has, at that time, a 10-bed clinic, which is very understaffed, undersupplied. She was pretty much working by herself as the only doctor, caring for people like you see here, this little kid with Kala-Azar, malnutrition, TB, malaria, typhoid, just devastating diseases. Old Fangak is at that time, it was a village of about 4,000 to 5,000 on a remote branch of the Nile River. Very impoverished, very remote, hard to get to, limited infrastructure, no roads, no electricity, no running water, limited education. And the only healthcare is what Dr. Jill was delivering. Many of her patients are being cared for on the dirt, just like this. When I was there, I spent 9 days there, and I just couldn't turn my back on the crisis that I was seeing. So came home to Alaska, got a bunch of Alaskans together, and we started what is now the Alaska Health Project for South Sudan. Over the years, our work evolved from what we started to do is build a clinic and drill a well. We accomplished that. But then because of the needs we saw around us, we built a couple of medical clinics, drilled water wells, started an agricultural program, and trained local men and women in what we were trying to do. I have to say that we have been amazingly successful, much greater success than we ever anticipated we would. It's because of people like yourself. In fact, the Alaska team was well known around South Sudan because we have been successful in what we're doing. But it couldn't have been done without people like yourselves to make this happen. And I want to mention that every dollar you donate that we raise today is going to be, folks, it's going to be doubled. We have a very generous donor out there that'll match every dollar we raise. So this is a tremendous opportunity to help us move forward in amazing ways with our water, with our agriculture, and with our training. We'll talk more about these things as the program progresses, but now I'd like to introduce Jason Hahn, a board member, and David Kapla, our field manager, with a recorded message from David's home in Kenya. Go ahead, David.
No audio. Back it up.
Turn up the audio.
No audio.
All right, now we can hear you.
I'm not upset at all. This is
Thanks for jumping on. My name is Jason Hahn. I'm a board member for the Alaska Sudan Medical Project, and I'm here with my colleague and friend, David Kapla. We're at his farm, actually on the coast of Kenya, and we're getting ready to go into Old Fangak next week. You know, I started with, well, actually with the Alaska Health Project South Sudan now, about 10 years ago, and that's where I first met David. Came in as a volunteer, was immediately just grabbed by what we were doing in that village and seeing the impact that we were having. And here I am 10 years later. I actually became the first director
6.5 minutes
about
to
8
go
years
here,
ago.
so
Yeah.
And did that for a few years.
Okay.
And I've been on the board ever since. You know, I haven't been to Old Fangak since 2016, and I'm really looking forward to going back next week. You know, I think the thing I'm most looking forward to is just not only seeing the work that we've done, seeing all these water holes, boreholes that we've drilled in the last several years, seeing this TB clinic that I still can't believe is finished. But it's also just to see the people that we've known now for over 10 years that are giving their sweat and their tears for this Alaska project in South Sudan. I'm looking forward to seeing Sun Duke, the 6'5" wise elder of the village who is just an incredible person. I'm looking forward to seeing Stephen, one of our workers who's been there from the beginning and is not even from that village, not even from that tribe, yet he's given really his life to helping the people in Old Fangak. I'm looking forward to seeing Nia Puku and her little daughter named Alaska.
Yeah, she's got a few now, but yep, Alaska's growing up. You will be very happy to see her.
That would be cool to see.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm looking forward to seeing Jill and how she's doing with the work in the village. But you know, what really is compelling me to go back was just knowing the impact of what we're doing. And I work for another nonprofit right now, but I got to tell you, I've never seen the impact for the resources put in that we're doing over there. For the amount of money that we spend, we're saving a lot of lives. And I really believe that. So yeah, I just want to thank you for all tuning in. And I just want to share a little bit of my story and letting you know that I'm going in next week with David. We're going to continue doing this despite the COVID. There's flooding now, but we're not going to be deterred. And the people in the village that are helping us aren't going to be deterred. So I'm looking forward to it. David?
Yeah, you should be. You should be. It is 2021, folks. Thank you again for Wine to Water this year. For most of you, not your first time seeing me. I'm David Kaplan. I'm the field director for the Alaska Health Project South Sudan. Everyone calls us Alaska in the entire country of South Sudan. Certainly everyone in Jonglei State. If you need a problem, you go talk to Alaska. If there is a crisis, you go talk to Alaska. If there's an emergency, you go talk to Alaska. Alaska can provide possibly tools. Alaska can provide possibly manpower. Alaska can certainly provide hope and ideas and the effort year after year to evolve a village. We started 10 plus some time years ago. 2009, I think, was when Dr. Jack and I first met, and I started getting involved on the field side and working in Africa. Now, as Jason said, I live here. I realized I was splitting so much time going back and forth, and 90% of the work I want to do is either here or in Old Fangak. And so this is where I am now, making it logistics quite a bit easier, especially in COVID. And touching on a couple points that Jason mentioned, what makes Alaska different, especially in South Sudan, is the value of what we do for the extremely low budgets and efficiencies that we do it at. There isn't another NGO that puts more of their percentages of the dollars of the funds raised directly into the ground. It doesn't go to a lot of things. It doesn't go to a lot of things because it goes to pipe, and it goes to borehole materials, and it goes to medicine, and it goes to
Training local
everything
staff.
we need, training the local staff. And so that was the other point that I wanted to really my focus on it, and why I keep coming back year after year, and especially the last 2 years, is that human resources aspect. The human development that we have done there is not something that I would have seen coming, not something that I had confidence in happening 10 years ago. I knew we were going to build a building. I knew we were going to drill boreholes, right? I have confidence we can make a borehole that's going to last 50 years. First few years, I had no confidence that we were making a change on a human level, on a societal level, on a cultural level. The amount of growth that the people we have trained, that has, you teach a man to fish, you will teach 20 others to fish. That trickle down effect has happened. Now Old Fangak is a place with 4 different schools, on different levels. It's a place with multiple boreholes. It's a place where when people need a safe place, they run to Old Fangak. That's because of what we've been able to do. A lot of that is because of the people that we have affected in South Sudan, changing the rest of South Sudan, changing the rest of Old Fangak on their own.
And I would say that one of those human resources that David talks about is David himself. That's really given a lot of his heart and soul over the last decade. And he's really one of the reasons
Yeah.
I'm crazy enough to keep coming back here. So I do want to thank also David and,
Gotcha.
and
Yeah.
thanks for letting me shoot this on your beautiful farm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
No, it's not a bad place to be. It's
none-
certainly we're warmer than you folks are
yeah.
there in Anchorage or wherever you might be. But to most of those folks in Alaska, yep, I'm not going to complain about October 30th weather. Not at all.
No.
No.
Well, so we're there with you in spirit from the coast of Kenya. And, you know, I know we're giving you a lot of pleas for donations tonight. And, you know, I echo those pleas. I'm donating myself. I know that it's getting matched. That was a big reason I'm going to increase my donation other than coming over here. So thanks again, folks. Enjoy the rest of the night.
And we're returning to you live from the beautiful Frostline Studios in the heart of downtown Spenard. Thank you very much, Jason and David. Those are interesting words, and they're great words, and they're true messages. And you can see that the things that we're doing here with Wine to Water really, really do make an impact. As a matter of fact, he mentioned that the proceeds from tonight will be matched by a very generous anonymous donor. And I am very happy to say that so far we're off to a great start, and we have $75,000 in donations so far. So keep up the good work. We're not done yet, and we got a lot more coming up. Remember to check out on the silent auction items. There's a lot of fabulous things there, and you don't want to miss out on them. Now it's my pleasure to introduce to you Pastor Albino Kong. Pastor Albino recently joined the advisory board of the Alaska Health Project South Sudan and is community leader of the South Sudanese here in Anchorage. Albino, by
Yes.
Zoom, are you there?
My pleasure. It's good to see you all. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Albino Kong. I live here in Anchorage, Alaska since September of 2011. I worked for the Anchorage School District for 7 years as a special education teacher. And I'm now working with the Sudanese community and also an ordained pastor working with ethnic communities or immigrant community and bringing them or proclaiming the gospel of Jesus Christ to them here in Anchorage. So I would like to thank all of you who have been spoken, the board members of Alaska Health Project for South Sudanese. I cannot thank you enough for all the things you have done for the Southern Sudanese people. Your time, the money that you are donating to help the people of Orfangak back in South Sudan. You know, South Sudan has been at war for so long. The people are suffering with a flood, natural disasters, and the ongoing civil war. I'm very thankful for what the Lord is doing, putting you guys there, even though the situation may be bad, but you still can go over there in South Sudan and try to help the people. I am really, really happy for all you do. As Jesus told this disciple on Matthew 25, verse 40, he said, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did it for me. So with that, I am going to take this time to give this blessing, that the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you, be gracious unto you. The Lord look upon you with his favor and grant you his peace. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Albino Kong. You know, I just happen to have this beautiful bracelet right there. Intricate detail work from Old Fang Gak. It's item number 46 in the silent auction. How about this? Beautiful metal spoon, handcrafted. And Todd and others have seen these in use down there. They're very, very interesting. Another beautiful piece from Rabbit Creek Pottery. And if I step aside, oh, I couldn't pass for Vanna. But there is a beautiful original oil back here by artist Michelle Zhao. And, you know, obviously I don't look as good as I could because we're coming through Zoom. So the picture doesn't look as good as it could either. But it is really, really to behold. So get in there and take a bid on that. We also have a very generous donation from artist John Van Zyl. This is an original painting that he titled Aqueous. John was inspired by the work that Wine to Water is doing to provide clean water. And when the muse hit, the result was an amazing painting of a mother black bear. Now, since then, maybe it's still right there in the back, he has added a little cub to the back of that. So it is really quite something. And it's available also on silent auction. So make sure you go there and check that. And remember, all of our contributions tonight will be doubled by a generous benefactor. And there's another item that was just added. This floral design was made by none other than Alexandria Hardesty, daughter of Todd, our executive director. She designed it from the flower petals and leaves from her garden to advertise the event on Instagram. We decided to make metal prints. 10 of them are available on the auction site. Thanks, Allie. And again, welcome to everyone that's coming to us from Zoom or YouTube. It is quite an event we're having. Once again, thanks to all of our Wine to Water sponsors. We really appreciate their support. And this evening simply would not be possible without their support. It's now my great pleasure to introduce John Waterhouse. He's coming to us live on Zoom from Portland, Oregon. John is a longtime board member and will join Dr. Jack on the upcoming trip to South Sudan. John's resume includes being a National Geographic explorer, and John is currently a research scientist and professor at the University of Idaho. John, are you there?
Here, I'm here.
I got one question to ask before they cut me off here.
Sure.
Is there any way that you have a PhD or a medical degree so we could call you Dr. John? Because I've always wanted to say that I just introduced Dr. John.
A lot of people call me that, but truth be told, I only finished the 9th grade. So
the truth is so limiting. All right, John.
Absolutely.
Take it away.
Well, good evening, folks, and I'm glad you're here. This is an important event that supports extremely important work for people that are in dire need. I'm going to put some slides up just so we can give you a visual on what the donations go for, but also the work of all these volunteers and the people of the village. So let's see if we can get screen share to work. This is always a challenge, but let's see. Let's see. There we are. Okay, are we there on the screen? Not yet. Okay, no screen share. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's start this up. So if you don't know where South Sudan is, there's a good idea of where it is. It's kind of right in the heart of Africa. It's a huge country, though. It's far larger than even France. My favorite way to travel there is along the river. It's beautiful. This is in the evening, and you can't even imagine what you would see as you travel along the river. But as you travel, you finally end up in Old Fangak. This is a satellite image of the current village, taken, I'm not quite sure when, but that's where we're at. Now this image here, this is from over 10 years ago. And for me, this is day one. After about 2 years of planning and logistical effort, this was the day that the very first building materials arrived in Old Fangak. The village turned out, it was a huge day. The barge came in, got it tied up to those 2 trees you see in the background, and everyone was so happy that finally the material had arrived to build the clinic. An incredible day, 10, 11 years ago. Along the way, it hasn't always been the happy days. This was the day right around Christmas. The clinic was almost finished and it caught on fire and burned. This was a very sad day for the entire community and the project. But you know, the one thing I will say is perseverance and resilience is definitely the name of this project, because everybody turned to, and there was tons of more supplies shipped in from around the world to rebuild this. They were all donations. I can't even put a monetary number on it. I know the solar equipment that arrived was probably about $130,000, maybe $150,000 worth of equipment. Donated, it was all military grade equipment. And people went back to work after the fire. And they kept working at it until we ended up with this beautiful clinic in Old Fangak. You would have never even imagined this was going to happen. But we go on even further. Wells have been drilled all around the region. Crews, local crews, have been trained on how to drill the wells so they can keep doing the wells. The doctors, and I'm not a medical guy, call me Dr. John is probably not the best thing to do, but the doctors tell me that we can cure most of the problems by just providing clean water for these people to drink. That's a commodity that is needed worldwide. Like they said, I'm a National Geographic explorer. I travel all over the world. This is number one here, fresh water for people. And it's happening in this area. That water, though, is used not only for drinking, but irrigating these crops. You can see what it used to be and what it is now. That's through the farming project of this project. They have taught farmers how to farm the land. They've provided the seeds. They've provided the equipment. And this has all been through donations, but the farmers pay back too. Some of their crop goes to support the clinic in the village. Some of it goes to support poor people, the very, very poor people. And the rest is for their family, or maybe to be sold in the market. But it turns little guys like this into farmers. And I know for a fact, one of the things that this has helped is keeps them out of the fight. This is a war-torn country. It's quite a bit of fighting goes on. But if you're a farmer, you need to tend to your crops and not go out fighting. So this is an incredible project. But like I said, there's always challenges, like the fire. Well, right now there's the flood. This is a 6-year event here in Old Fangak. The entire village is flooded. But like I said, perseverance, stick-to-itness. You can see the smiles there. Nobody gives up, no matter what. But the truth of the matter is that village is entirely flooded right now. We're getting ready to go back and survey the project, make sure everything's going right, and help out where we can. But I'm going to go back to that perseverance for a second. This is Dr. Jill Siemens, one of the community members, and you can see the smiles on their face. That's not by luck or happenstance. That's because this project, the Alaska Health Project South Sudan, it gives these people hope in this entire region. There are so many IDPs there now, internally displaced persons, because it's a safe place for them to go. This is centered on the primary medical care that they can receive there, but also the stability of the village, having water wells, having farming projects, educational projects. It gives them hope for their future, their families, and their children. So please be generous this evening and help these folks out, because all of us could do out without, like 10 more lattes or whatever. Help these folks out. They really need it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, John. I think I'm going to have to start believing my wife, because every time I tell a story like I did with John, she says, oh yeah, I'll bet no one's heard that one before. We really are making a difference. Every donation helps. Make sure to check out those silent auction items. We're raising money for clean water. So important. Now it's time to take you back to South Sudan, to the village of Dornon, for a spontaneous celebration that occurred when we finished a new well. Joy and happiness is something that really doesn't need a translation. You can see. And can you imagine dancing for clean water? That's how important this is to them. So keep on bidding and do what we can to help raise more money. One of the key volunteers and a board member who is now guiding the drilling program is Rob Crotty. Rob joins us now live on Zoom from Denver, Colorado. Rob?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can. Good evening to you, sir.
Really great. So I'm in Denver, Colorado, splitting my time between Denver and Indian, Alaska. It's wonderful I'm here tonight. I thank you very much. One thing I want to add, Paul, is that spoon that you held up. The history behind that is there's a MiG-23 that's crashed out somewhere outside of the village. There's a guy named One-Legged Dave, and he goes out to that crash, and he strips off the sheet metal, and he comes in, and he makes these spoons, and he makes these pipes. So you have a guy named One-Legged Dave going out to a MiG-23 crash to make that spoon. So I think it really should double the price there. Anyway, I see that Todd is flipping through all the slides here, so I'm behind schedule already. But anyway, my name is Rob Crotty, and I am the water program director / drilling director / the guy that stares at everybody and just frowns if nothing goes right. I'm totally involved with the water project. When it comes to the water project, we have 32 wells drilled to date, and our goal is to drill 100 wells in the next 3 years. So we have a huge task in front of us, but I think we're well on the way, especially with our new drilling equipment. We were able to pick up 2 drills that can drill to 100 meters or 330 feet, which is twice the depth that we can drill now. So basically, we're able to drill twice as deep and twice as fast. So I think we can get these wells done. And basically along those lines, I just deal in facts and specifics. You know, I'm not going to yank on your heartstrings or tell you this, tell you that. I'm just going to tell you what I want. What I want is basically, I want to drill another 68 wells, and each of these wells are going to cost $22,000. Each of these wells were going to require us to fly 3 plane loads of equipment in to do it wherever we're going, or 3 boatloads of equipment wherever we're going to do it. And you know what? We're ready to do it. And as soon as those waters recede, we're going to get after it. We're going to start. We're going to bang it. Oh, look, there I am. I'm the guy on the right with the gray shirt, the really handsome guy in that photo right there. But basically, what we do is we drill these wells and we provide life, laughter, love, gossip, whatever you want to the places we go. It's just wonderful. And how we do this is every time we get ready to do a well, we figure out where they want to do it. Somebody asks us to do it, and we plan to drill. We come up with a plan how to get there. Do we fly in there? Can we get there by boat? What do we have to do to get that well? The next step is we get the buy-in from that village or from that neighborhood that if we drill this well, you have to help us. Nothing's for free. There's no free lunch when you're talking to our organization, because you know what? Everybody's involved, including you. And so basically we drill that well, they get the buy-in, they help us, they haul the equipment in, they dig the pits, they help us when we drill the wells, they feed our crew, and we're successful. And that is because we have like 32 wells. That's success. That's a huge success. Like I said, I'm just looking at my list here. We have two new rigs able to go at 100 meters versus 50 meters. So we're going to do twice as fast. And basically what I like about this is I'm working my way out of a job. That means I'm a success as far as I'm concerned. Is I really don't need to go back there anymore. The crews that have been trained up on a large part due to Patrick Commanda, they can do this. Patrick and James Neem and those people, they can do this for themselves. I don't have to do this anymore. That makes me successful. That's exactly what I want. I want to be out of a job. I just want to sit around and just, glare at people and have a weird look on my face. Along those lines, I just want to add really quickly here, I know my 3 minutes is up, is my family is going to give a $2,000 donation to this to bump this whole thing up, and I'll work that out with Todd. So I hope somebody out there will match me. And I just want to close with I have the words boon on my list here. Boon is coffee in Nowhere. And boon is what I and a guy named, I can't remember his name, but it was our first successful well. It was where the schools is now, the first school. And basically we were drilling the well and he was building the school. And, this guy, he was Nowhere and he'd been there forever. And he'd been through the fights and he had a rough life. But we would, at the end of the day, we sit there, we drink coffee and we look out and we just smile. It's because we knew something was happening. We knew something could be done and the future was good. So please donate and I'm done. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Rob. That's the hard facts behind this, and you can see why it works. And we got a lot of people like Rob that are pitching in and doing this. And thank you for that very generous donation. Remember, somebody will double it because somebody will double all the contributions it received tonight. So, hey, let's go to the village of Payette for another celebration. This one with a little drumming on a water can. Very cool. Obviously happy people. And if you paid attention, the man wearing the blue shirt that you saw dancing in that last video is Patrick Kamanda. And he is the lead drill for the Alaska Health Project South Sudan. It's about 2:30 in the morning in Nairobi, Kenya, where Patrick joins us now live. Patrick, are you there from Nairobi? We're efforting. You know, it is absolutely astounding to me every time I'm on Zoom and I watch this stuff happen, that people across the world can be linked together like this. And there was a little audio challenge on the video, but you know what I always tell people, it's not surprising when it doesn't work. It's surprising as it works as often as it does, because I sure don't know how it all works. But the lovely people at Frostline Studios are keeping us going, and we appreciate their help immensely. Any word on Patrick? No, Patrick, he's probably sleeping. That'd be my bet. All right. Thank you again to all of our sponsors. One of them is the Hotel Captain Cook, and they sponsored a well in the village of Toish. Well, let's take a look. This is a new well drilled with a donation from the Hotel Captain Cook. You know, the pictures and the smiles that you can see on all the kids and the adults' faces, you know, even though you can't be there in person, you can see that and you can feel their happiness coming right through the screen. It's a beautiful picture. Power of giving your time and helping in Old Fang Gak can be life-changing. Now via Zoom, we're going to welcome Mike Finnegan, who was in the Old Fang Gak class of 2015. They have graduation ceremonies too? I'll have to ask him about that. Mike, what do you want people to know about Alaska Health Project South Sudan?
Well, Paul, I got to tell you, it was out of the blue that Rob Crotty introduced the idea of going to Africa to volunteer. And at the time, they needed a person to fulfill a logs position, a logistics position. And I was invited to go over and see what it was all about. And I can tell you that I was amazed after arriving in the village at the great enthusiasm all the villagers had for all of the personnel. They were very happy to see us arrive, and the love and attention they always gave to Jill Seaman. Dr. Jill was just an amazing individual. I was speaking with Jack earlier about a new facility that was built there, a house basically, and I asked, is Jill sleeping in there now? He goes, no, she's always going to sleep in a tent because she wants to be part of the village. And I got the sense of that right away because we were all in our little compound near the medical clinic. But the efficiencies and the troubleshooting that was undergone by both Rob Crotty and Denny through problems we encountered with the drilling while I was there, and the dedication of the crews, the local crews, who were always off to have a good time if they could, but when they got down to it and got to work, it was a great thing to experience. And then, of course, all the villagers and the children who were surrounding the drill sites whenever we were drilling. An event to see for all the kids. I really enjoyed my time there. I can't wait to get back. I think it's one of the most worthy organizations to donate to, just because of the fact that the preponderance of the proceeds go directly into projects in the village. There's very, very little overhead to this organization. And I think for that reason alone, compared to all the other NGOs, as Dave said earlier, it's well worth it. So please take the time to donate tonight, especially with the fact that we have this special benefactor matching all the donations. It's something that I'm really, really fond of. And And the last thing I want to say is that when I'm in supermarkets here and recognize somebody who might be from South Sudan, and I say hello and ask them, "Are you from South Sudan?" They say, "How do you know?" And I said, "Because I've been there." And if I find out they're, Nuer, I can say a certain hello. I also have seen them working in the community. Some of you may know them and recognize them, and some of them have grown up here. So that's pretty. And they're coming into the fold, and I hope that they can volunteer someday too, to go back to their homeland and help as well. But yeah, thanks to Jack, thanks to everybody who started this organization for my time in South Sudan. It was awfully good.
Mike, thank you very much for those great words. It occurs to me that this is life-changing for them and in many regards for us. Todd, the boss, just came out and gave me an update. We just got another $2,000 donation. Somebody donated $15,000 for a bore well, and we are up to over $90,000 so far. That is fabulous work. Just keep it coming, because you know what these people are doing with it. I always get a kick out of the name Wine to Water, because it seems like it's a little play on a reverse miracle. But I think in so many ways it is miracles that they're producing there. So good work, keep it up. Our next guest is Denny Weber, who has guided our work in Old Fangak for many years. We could not achieve the success we have without his help. As Denny knows, working in Old Fangak, especially with construction, is not easy. Denny, are you there?
Yeah, hello, everybody. Thanks, Paul, for that introduction. Yep, thanks to everybody for joining us. What is really our signature fundraising event for the year. It's always fun and has been productive, and looks like it's going to be productive again this year. I also want to take this opportunity and thank everybody associated with what is now called Alaska Health Project South Sudan. Yeah, I got to give a shout out to the to the perseverance and resiliency, as John has stated. We were on a pretty good trajectory back in, I guess I started in 2010. And then things kind of went upside down when the latest iteration of the Civil War started in 2013. And yep, it was a tough time to work, but as somebody has probably mentioned, it can be a frustrating place to work, very challenging, many different challenges. I do a lot of construction work here in Alaska, but there are different challenges there in the village of Old Fangak. And I've been quoted more than once, and accurately so, that I would never go back to the village because it was such a frustrating place to work. But I've been back for 10 years in a row. I didn't go back last year because of the COVID thing, but and I've often kind of wondered, and when I said those things, I actually meant it. But then when I wondered, well, what did bring you back often year after year? And honestly, when you get away and get away from the day-to-day hands in the mud frustration, things aren't going right, logistics aren't happening, compared to perhaps what I'm used to here in the States. But then when you step back and realize how much impact your work is having, and it may not be immediately obvious while you're there working. Like I say, the frustrations kind of can cloud the picture. You step back, and from a distance, it is obvious that how much impact our work has had over there. And I need to give a shout out to all the participants in our work over there. And I also need to say the team that goes over and does the work is perhaps the engine, but your car doesn't go anywhere until you put fuel in the tank. And the generous donors and participants in events like this auction, silent auction, really fuel the engine. And without that fuel, nothing happens. And as I said, when I'm on the ground there, it can be kind of frustrating because the picture is clouded. But when you step away, it's clear as a bell, actually, just how much success, and it really is kind of unbelievable how much success Alaska has had in the village and in the area of Old Fangak. Alaska, the word Alaska, the term Alaska is well known in the region for successful operations over there, even in the face of all these challenges. And again, I got to give a shout out to from the top on down, from Jack on down to all the volunteers for in whatever capacity. It's been, I guess that's why I'm still around. Yep, great bunch to work with, and I'm having great success. When I first went over there, I think it was 2010. Never been over there before, and you kind of go over there thinking, oh, I want to help change the world. And after a little while, you realize it's tough to change the world, and you're not going to change the world. You can't change the world. What you can do is change the world for somebody or a few people. And in fact, again, from the distance view, Alaska Health Project South Sudan has changed the world for even tens of thousands of people now. That's what clean water does, and agriculture programs do, and health clinics do. They multiply the effect. So even though my challenge is to not get my vision clouded as I go over there and work, but keep an eye on the big picture, which is honestly kind of unbelievably successful with the donations we've had and the team we've had. So I need to congratulate all the ASMP Alaska Health Project South Sudan project participants and the administration, everybody, and the local workers that we've trained just for really massive success, and look forward to even more success in the future with the help of your donations. It's very much appreciated, very much recognized. As mentioned before, there's a very generous private donor that will match all the donations for tonight. And that's a big thing. The Alaska team, Alaska Health Project South Sudan, knows what they're doing there. It's a very tough, there's no roads to the place. The logistics are tremendous and expensive, but the effect and the results are great. And so thank you, everybody. And thank you, Paul, and we'll turn it back to you.
Danny, thank you very much. While we were away, I had a couple of items that were brought to my attention that might be questions that people have. If you want to send a check instead of some other form of payment, you can go to alaskasudan.org and the donate page that will give you the address. Somebody had a question about the Maui snorkel cruise. It looks great, but if they can't go until 2023, the coupons will still be good in 2023 as well. And if you're worried about getting your silent auction items, Todd will contact you by email or phone. And hopefully you can get them at his house on Sunday through Tuesday, or they could be mailed. He's heading to South Sudan on Wednesday. So if you don't get in touch with him before then, it's going to be a while before you get back. I want you to grab a glass of water somewhere, as once again, we say thanks to our sponsors again this year. Very generous for all that they do to help this organization do the wonderful things that they're doing. A glass of water, a glass of clean water, something we take for granted. essential for life. And you people collectively are providing hope for so many people in the South Sudan. Cheers. You know about the work that we do with water wells and agriculture, and joining us now on video from Juba, and if you were paying attention, you saw it right there in the red circle. South Sudan is Program Manager Emmanuel Ikudu to tell you about another way this organization helps.
Greetings from Juba, South Sudan. I'm Emmanuel Ichodu, the Program Manager here in South Sudan. Thanks so much for all you do to support the work we are doing in South Sudan. It means a great deal. While you know about the well drilling and the agriculture projects, you might not know that the Alaska Health Project South Sudan supports in other ways. As part of Rotary International, a generous donation from Ann Evans and Mobility Worldwide, the Alaska Health Project South Sudan helped coordinate the transport and delivery of these carts to help people who cannot walk, especially with problems related to spinal tuberculosis. Some of these carts went all Fangak and many were assembled and distributed here in Juba. I'm so happy to share these images from the day they were handed over. There was a band, a parade, and a lot of very happy people. The money you give to the Alaska Health Project South Sudan is changing lives. We are so grateful for all you do. Thank you.
We can only do this good work with volunteers and donors. Today, we're asking you to consider donating for one borehole, $15,000. I don't know your situation, and some people ask me sometimes, do I get nervous asking people for money? No, because I believe in the cause. You know what it does. I'm excited to tell you that donor Greg Weber in Montana has at Wine to Water committed to support one well in the next drilling season. Thank you very much, Greg. Anybody else out there want to support one well? Raise your hand, make a donation. You can go online. If you want to send a check, like I said, you can go to alaskasudan.org. You'll find the address right there. You're the people that make it work. So let's take a quick video break and head back to South Sudan to a well in Kourbai, sponsored by the Kulin family. I want one of those spoons. I hope nobody's outbidding me. So you probably heard my voiceover that wasn't supposed to be there. That's what you get working with amateurs. Clean water changes lives. Auction's going great. It could go better. One of our sponsors, Major Marine Tours, has a hotel stay and whale watching out of Seward. And then there's these, I showed you the spoons, but look at this thing. Beautiful. This is made in Old Fangak, and it's used to cover food from bugs. And they've got a couple of those right there. Beautiful golf bag right here. If you're a golfer, I can tell you right now that you need a new bag. Every golfer out there has this bag and they've had it for a long time. This is a good time to get a new one. Remember, the bidding will end at 6 p.m. And if you are the lucky recipient of a silent auction item, Todd will do everything he can to have it ready for tomorrow. But remember, he leaves for South Sudan on Wednesday, so it's a short window to get everything distributed. And also, one of the items up for bid tonight is the infamous pizza and beverage, wink, wink, in Todd's garage. It seems we not got in trouble, but there's some fine print somewhere that says that we actually can't auction wine or alcoholic beverages. So just imagine that it's going to be pizza and a beverage. Now it's my honor to again welcome back Dr. Jack Hickel. Doctor.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great, great. Yeah, thanks for all the good stories, guys. You've already covered a lot of what I was going to cover, so that is good. I just want to start by saying we want to honor John Eng, a board member with ASMP for years, with APS for years. John passed away July 23rd of natural causes, and members of the Downtown Rotary Club, as part of Wine to Water, have just donated just under $8,000 to drill a well in John's honor. So if you're a Rotarian or would like to donate in John's honor, you can do that tonight, either via PayPal at alaskasudan.org website, or donate to Wine to Water and let us know via email that it's in John's honor. So yeah, we're going to drill a well in John's honor and put a flag up like that and send it to his wife and to the Rotary people too. He was a great guy. We really miss him. Anyhow, APS is the Alaska Health Project Southside. I call it APS because it's the easiest way to remember. Just to summarize, briefly, we have 4 goals. One is to improve medical infrastructure, providing clean water, addressing food insecurity, and developing sustainable programs. And we have been hugely successful doing this. We have improved medical infrastructure. We've done 2 medical clinics now, the TB clinic. You saw some pictures of that. We just finished last year. People no longer have to be treated in the dirt under the scorching sun or having the rain pour on their heads. They now have that beautiful building where they can get out of the way. They have beds to sleep in. It's amazing. It sure beats taking care of all these people on the ground. Clean water, it's like they said, it's vital. Water kills in that country. It kills, especially kids. And most of those people have never, ever tasted fresh water, but we're giving it to them. We've drilled 32 successful wells, as Rob has said, in probably 12 to 15 villages to prevent these waterborne diseases. It's been really exciting stuff. Hunger and malnutrition is a frequent visitor to that country. And addressing food insecurity, food handouts is not the way we go. That was never part of our mission. We don't do it. There's a reason for food handouts in really acute situations, but ours is about sustainability. And so our agricultural program is training men and women to farm. We give them the techniques, we give them the training, we give them the seeds, and we microloan them equipment, never money. We microloan them equipment, and then they pay us back when they can. But we've turned their small garden plots essentially into small family farms, some even an acre, 2 or 3, or even bigger than that, providing a good food supply for their family, for their extended family. They can sell a little bit in the market, make a little bit of money, help put their kids in school, buy clothes. So this is the trickle down effect of what we're doing with water and agriculture is amazing. And to make sure that we work ourselves out of a job, our whole focus at the very beginning was sustainability, guys. We've got to make it so these projects go on forever, even when we're not there. And that's exactly what's going on. We train the people, they're doing all their own well drilling. All the agricultural projects are done by them. All the building, the small motor repair, all done by local villagers that we've trained. Our lead driller is, as mentioned, is Kenyan, but they're all Africans doing this work. As the Alaska team, what do we do? I mean, the people from overseas like us, we provide logistics and financial support. And that's where you guys come in to make this thing happy. Like Denny says, you are the fuel to make this machine run, and it impacting tens of thousands of lives. Every well that goes in gives clean water to at least 1,500 people. So we've already got 30 wells in. So that's exciting. You know, the Civil War broke out in 2013. It really put a crimp in things. It just devastated that country. 2.3 million people fled into other countries. 1.8 million were displaced in their own country. 50,000 of those people came into the village of Olfangak in 2013, 14, and 15. So our village went from 4,000, 5,000 people to what is now over 60,000 people. They came there because it was remote, there was a medical clinic, there was clean water, and there was food in the markets. So that is some of the effect we've had on these poor people that have been traumatized and suffered by the Civil War. And that's, you know, it's a disaster enough, you know, having to live in South Sudan in some of these terrible areas, then to have it followed by a civil war. And then now the flooding, it just seems like one disaster after another. But the people are resilient, and so is the medical team, so is the APS team, the Alaska team. We don't quit. We've never left there during the Civil War. We never pulled out like a lot of the organizations did. And we're not going to quit now, even though there's flooding there. We're going to go there this next week and assess the situation, see what's going on. But despite the hardships, we continue on, and that's directly a result of your support for what we're doing. We have a dedicated team. We have great people over there making this stuff happen. So our goals, our long-term goals are to do 100 wells in the next, by the end of 2024, have over 1,000 farms. Right now, we have 209 farms that are actively producing, you know, maize and sorghum, potatoes and cabbage, tomatoes and onions, you just name it. It's amazing what these people are growing now. 209 farms. We hope to have 1,000 farms by the end of 2014. That's 25 wells annually every year and 250 farms established every year. Sounds pretty challenging, doesn't it? But we can do it. I know that we can. It sounds daunting, but it's not impossible. And we're going to make it happen because you can help us make that happen. Really exciting. Our short-term goals now have had to change. The flooding is there. We can't drill wells in the Olfangak area. We're going to go there next week. We'll talk to the government leaders. We'll talk to the chiefs, find out how we can be as effective as we can, where we need to work. But we may have to establish a remote working compound in maybe the village of Twitch. If it's dry enough there. A lot of the refugees have poured into that area by the thousands. They've left the flood-plagued areas and moving to the Twitch area and the surrounding villages. So our plan is to maybe establish a remote work site out of there. And then from there, we take the boat and by foot, we visit these other villages. Villages like Luwat, where we visited last year. Very remote, very impoverished places, just shocking. When we were there, the chief told us that we were the first foreigners ever to visit that village. And there's other villages like that. So we said, we're going to drill a well there. Well, we tried, but they're so far from the Nile River that the water table was too low. We couldn't reach it, like Rob had said. Now we have this new drill that Rob has helped us to get, and it'll drill to 100 meters. So we're going to be able to hit these villages, these places that would never have water, and we're going to bring them water. I just know that it's going to happen. These places seemingly untouched, these villages, by anything except grinding poverty. The terrible diseases, but the clean water we're bringing them are saving thousands of lives. Alaska went there 14 years ago. That's what they call us. And we stayed. We never left during the Civil War. We're not going to leave during the flood. And kind of the way I see it is we are working where others won't work. We're doing what others won't do. And it's because of you that we can reach some of the poorest people on this planet and change their lives forever, generations, by what we're doing for them and what they're learning, the skills they're learning. You know, Wine to Water last year raised $65,000. We thought that was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. This year, we're already, you know, our goal was to reach 100,000 plus. We're going to get it. Let's shoot for 120. Let's shoot for 130,000. Please, guys, we can do it. Every dollar is going to be matched. If we had $150,000, and we can do that, we would have $300,000 from Wine to Water this year. Imagine the wells we can drill and the farms we can establish and the people we can train and the lives we can touch, helping some of the poorest lives on the planet.
We're at 168,000.
Oh, I just did you hear that? We are at $168,000. Oh, I mean, praise God. We are so blessed, and we are sharing those blessings with really some of the poorest people on the planet. I lived in Africa, I worked there for 16 years, and this is one of the worst I've ever seen. And we are changing this community. We're changing these villages forever. Thank you so much. 168,000. Let's go for 200. And our donor has no limit. She will double it. She will double it. So while this part of the world may be forgotten, we will never forget these people.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you for
Jack.
sharing those blessings with them.
Thank you,
you.
Dr. Jack.
Thanks.
You know, it's like I'm in the newsroom, but I'm already getting the news secondhand. I had the highlight. I had the break. Another pledge, drum roll. This is absolutely unbelievable. Somebody donated $50,000. And then on top of that, we got another 10,000. So we are at about 168,000. And as Dr. Jack said, they will be matched by a very generous anonymous donor, and they will be doubled. So kudos to you, but keep working. You know, sometimes we always get concerned about what a difference we make in the world. Do we make all the difference in the world? No. But to these people, you do. You make all the difference in the world. To these people in South Sudan. From the bottom of my heart, thank you all very much. This was another great Wine to Water. The next Jack, Rob, Danny, and some others, including Todd, are going to stick around and answer any questions you might have. It was my pleasure to be here again. And to personally thank you for all you're doing and all you've done to bring water, clean water to South Sudan. And in closing, ladies and gentlemen, I will just say that even though I can't see you, I appreciate immensely the people like you that are in this world that continue to make a difference. That's it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your attention and your donations. And remember, always be good to the ones you love. Goodbye.
And hi.
Oh, and hi.
We'll adjust this in a second, but just wanted to tell everybody that we're going to, I'm Todd, for those that don't know me, but we're going to have a panel discussion. We're going to have a Q&A where you guys can unmute your microphones and we can talk. And if you have questions, and we're going to spend 30, 40 minutes, as long as you guys want to. And so just bear with us as we do a few little changes here. And it is so humbling, the support that has come to the fact that after this evening with the matching, that we will have $300,000 to drill in South Sudan. That's just, it's really touches my heart, and I thank you, those that are present, and we're going to talk about it, and we'll come back at you. Hang out. We're going to make some adjustments, and then we'll be back as a panel. Thank you.
No.
We'll grab the seat. Everybody, so people can
Yep.
ask questions.
Yeah, we're working on it. I got it. Hello, everybody. Switch to gallery view. There we go. Oh, now we can see everybody. And I'm gonna put this up a little taller. There you go, Todd. Is
Perfect.
that better? And you can
Okay.
stand farther back if you want.
Okay, sure.
So, there you go. And you should be good to go.
Okay, this is the point, and I can only see a few people, but this is the point that just if you had a question and you care to ask us anything about what we're up to, please do, and hopefully we'll be unmuted and we can hear you. So you can see lots of faces, and I guess I'm just going to leave it up to you guys. I can just tell you that I can only see a portion of the people who are attending.
Yeah, you'll only be able to see how.
And so if you have something to say, just go ahead and unmute your microphone. If you have any questions, and go ahead. But you have to unmute the mic.
Hi, everyone. This is Walt Hayes. What a marvelous event. I am just thrilled beyond measure to see the generosity of the Alaska community and others. Two things. Number one, I would remind you that those of you who are geezers and geezerettes and have an IRA, if you're over 70 and a half, you can have the opportunity to make a gift that is without tax at year end. And I intend to do that. I know that my dollars will be well more invested, even though I consider myself something of a mild patriot, than giving more tax dollars to the United States Treasury. Secondly, I wanted to tell you how thrilled I was to see the parade of the little Mobility Worldwide carts as one of the videos. Some of you may know that this humanitarian organization that I've been associated with for the past 16 years has provided about 90,000 of these carts in 104 nations worldwide. The big news for us, and we were so happy to send 25 carts to Old Fandak several years ago with the maiden flight of the Kenyan flag carrier airline. The big news is that we have found a benefactor in Northern Ohio called Step 2, and they are one of the world's largest manufacturers of rotational molding. They make a resin-based product, and it is molded into garden carts and mailboxes and children's toys, like the little, kitchen sets you see for little girls at box stores. And they are now partnering with us, and Dow Chemical is donating these resin pellets. And we are now producing a cart that is 35% lighter and 25% cheaper to build because it's made of epoxy resin. And they're being field tested in Guatemala, in Haiti, in Kenya, and in Zambia. And we think it's kind of the next generation of our effort to work with those marginalized of the world who lack mobility. So again, thank you for a wonderful evening. It was so exciting to see the progress that has been made through this volunteer effort. And I wish you well, and God bless.
Thanks, Walt.
It's great to see some faces. The computer I have only shows a few faces, and I can't see the rest of you. But it's Maureen. Hi, we've been emailing for a long time, and thank you so much for the generous donation for Wine to Water this year. And it's always a pleasure to check the email on occasion, and all of a sudden there's another donation from Maureen, and so you're helping us. As Denny told us, we're changing the world a few lives at a time, and thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for all your wonderful work. And, I've known the organization since its inception. I feel so grateful to be able to help you guys out. I was going to ask how safe is it now going over there? I know there was some unrest in northern Sudan just yesterday.
I can answer that. I think I'm more worried about getting my feet wet than I am about what's happening in the north of the north. I think that the region that we're working in is safe. It's still flooded. It is going to be difficult in terms of those conditions, but in terms of safety, it's there's more danger in using the outhouse and a possible, getting bit by a snake or mosquito or something else or a scorpion than there is that political. Jack, you can correct me if you want to.
Great.
No, I think that's right. No, we're so remote that the war has never touched our particular area.
Well, be praying for you guys.
Thanks, Marie. Good to see you.
And I see that Greg Weber is among the participants, and thank you, Greg, for the generous pledge of a new borehole. We appreciate you and your wife and your family giving us the opportunity to drill another borehole, and it's much appreciated.
Well, it's our pleasure. We feel fortunate to be able to do this, and I can't think of another organization that I would feel so good about giving money to, in terms of, you can actually see the concrete results of your giving and affecting the world. So we feel pretty blessed that way.
I think that the gifts, the donor that agreed to match everything, the gift of that matching has led so many people to make substantial donations. So without naming the person, we thank you. I don't know if they're even on our Zoom this evening, but it's so many people told me that they decided to step it up because the matching was occurring. With the matching, we will have 15 boreholes paid for, which is absolutely incredible. I feel a little bit, I feel like we might have overshot it this year because the board's going to expect me to do better next year. And I'm not positive that might be possible. And I can also tell you that I've talked to several people who told me they're sending in checks. So it's possible that, as Jack had mentioned, that we actually could achieve $200,000 in donations before the matching, which is just unheard of. I mean, it has been heard of elsewhere, but not in our little organization. So for those of you who are giving and those who have yet to give, and we can also say that silent auction is going to run till 6. And so there's lots of things out there that you can still bid on. I love this painting back here. It's absolutely a gorgeous painting. And there's paintings by Stephen Gordon and others. And it's clearly a great opportunity to get something, and in getting something, give something. Right, Danny? Got to unmute.
There, I think I'm on.
So because I'm behind the scenes and pulling my hair out, I didn't hear everything. But did you explain to people that you had to have get hit on the head to go over to Old Fangak next time?
I didn't go that far, but I think Rob Crotty did.
Oh, he did. Okay, but Denny is one of those.
I don't know if Greg Weber is still on, but I share the same last name as him. I don't know him personally. Weber is a very common German name, so the chances of we being related are slim. But hi, Greg, and thanks for your help. And maybe we'll run into each other someday.
Well, my pleasure. Good to see it. It's good to see all these people and all these names and supporters. I'm glad. We live in Montana. I worked in Alaska and retired. And this is so nice for us to be able to communicate and connect with this organization and so many people involved in it. So that's special for us.
So
my family is from the Midwest, and so I'm guessing, yep, we aren't. We're German originally, but yep, probably that's about it.
Hey, I'm going to throw the spotlight on someone who's ready to go to bed. It seems Dan Pasigna, who's with us on Zoom, and he's a person that most of you haven't met yet. And what we have done is Dan had been the executive director of a large nonprofit working in South Sudan, working in the providing medical care, and he joined us as a consultant and a volunteer not long ago, and I just see him there. And hi, Dan, and maybe just very briefly you can introduce yourself so these guys that are listening can get to know you.
Well, thanks for the opportunity, Todd. Yeah, I think I've been working with you guys for around 10 months now. It's been a little while. But the Alaska Health Project is working to take the next step forward. I think that they are considering applying for grants with major international partners. And that's kind of my specialty within South Sudan. I've been working in South Sudan for about 10 years in that realm. And I was previously the executive director of an organization that began about the size of Alaska Health Project, although it didn't nearly have the amount of donor support. So you guys are very lucky in that regard. But we were able to grow that organization through achieving partnerships with major international organizations. And I think that might be something that the Alaska Health Project is considering going forward. And certainly the dollars that you guys get from donors are better dollars. There's always strings attached with dollars to from major international organizations. That being said, it is a way to help you achieve your goals. So yeah, I've been working with the Alaska Health Project for about the last 10 months, and I'll be heading over there as a volunteer in the next 10 days. And I really looking forward to getting to see the operation on the ground.
Thank you. Again, because I can only see just a few people, I don't know if anybody else wants to unmute and had any questions for us tonight.
Hey, Todd, can you hear me? This is Rob.
I can. Hey, I had a question for you because we couldn't see your face earlier. Did something happen?
No, it's just basically I like to be the man of mystery. So
you're looking good.
I got this question, Todd. I see Joe Hardesty up there, and I know he's in the moving pictures business. And Joe ought to be listening, because this looks like this should be a script for a major movie. This would just be, just off the charts, and what we do and how this is done. This is just, there's a script there. And I already think that when it comes to who should play Dr. Jack, it'd be Mike Douglas. And for you, I don't know yet who would play you, but for me,
I'm thinking Meryl Streep.
Elvis has already he's already taken the role. He's preparing the role right now, so it'll be a few years, but he'll be ready soon enough. What's that?
That's my grandson, and my son and my grandson.
All right, excellent. Okay, so we got Jack typecast, because he goes over there despite the fact he's in the dust and the grime and the blood and the gore. He always looks so good. He's always so clean and perfect. The rest of us look like crap. We're just got grime and dust, and we look like just crap. He just, Captain Sartorius somehow.
Rob, it's because you got to wear brown clothes that already look crappy when you put them on. You buy them that way.
He just runs around, looks good, and hands out licorice. So there you go. Yeah. So for me, I'm thinking Pierce Brosnan or maybe Mo Rocca, one or the other. So for the geologist / drilling director, somebody. Yeah, little humor here. So we get too serious about this stuff, but what our team when we're over there is we're doing serious work, but we have a good time. We love each other and we just enjoy each other. And during the day it's tough. Stuff is whirling, stuff is banging, the drill's working. Jack's off helping in the clinic, but at night we have a moment sometime there where we can all sit around a campfire and just kind of talk stuff out, and that's part of the whole thing. It's really cool. So
Hey, I was just seeing if I get an update. So you guys talk among yourselves for a second here. And if you have any more questions or comments, I'm just going to try to get on the other computer and tell you where we're at real quick.
I'll ask a question. I'll ask a question for Jack. Jack, what do you think success looks like over the next year?
Over the next year, we're gonna have to drain the swamp. And then the success is going to be, starting in January, if we kind of move our operations temporarily to the Toich region, punching in 12 wells with the team that we have and the new drill rigs, I can see that happening very easily, especially the amount of money that we've come in. And I think we're going to hit our goal easily if this next year of 25 more wells, easily, and another 250 farms. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Flood or no flood, we'll find a way to touch all those places and all those people. The need is unlimited. And we once, set a goal here a year or two ago of saying, okay, 30-kilometer radius is where we're going to start hitting around Old Fangak, and we're already moving into those areas pretty effectively now.
Well, we're going to have, we have 170,000 that will be matched. So help me out with math. Is that 340?
Yeah.
Let me get out my calculator.
Does that sound like that we should be drinking, like popping a cork of some type? That's really something. It's
Yeah, I think we should pop a cork or something, or make a movie. Anybody that plays my role, I'd be happy to, because anybody's better looking and more talented than I am. Just make them younger than me.
So my son is there with my grandson, but I think I want him to play me as opposed to Meryl Streep, because he's much younger and thinner.
There you go.
I can't see anybody else that I'm sure other people that I know are here, but my screen doesn't share everyone who's listening. But to those that are friends and family, people who know me, thank you for attending. It's one of those events that is going to start, and then it's going to finish, but you don't know what's going to happen in between. And it's but in general, I think that with all of the hiccups and everything, I feel like it went pretty good. I think that Patrick in Kenya did try to get in touch with us, and I missed it. And so next time we'll be more careful to make our connection with him. But he was attempting, and we have a board member that's in Saudi Arabia that wanted to try to connect with us, and unfortunately for him, he says he could barely make a text today, let alone try to get a video conference from Saudi Arabia. But we have a team heading out in different days next week, and we're all going to meet together in Juba on the 8th of November. And, some of us there for a week and some for a couple of weeks, and we'll have a great report coming out of it to figure out how we're going to move ahead in terms of, if the flooding continues, do we drill on the higher pedestals? Do we move into new locations to places where the refugees are moving because of the flooding situation? So really, I feel like we should have a wine to a water two in December, just to give you guys an update. But I know for sure we'll have to have something. We'll schedule something so we can tell you what happened. So do we have anybody else who's listening or on camera have any other? I'm sorry?
Somebody named Patrick just joined.
Is Patrick showing up?
Patrick Hamada.
It looks like our friend Patrick is going to. Patrick, are we hearing you?
He's cool stuff, kind of like Travis, not really getting.
I don't know who that is. Can you ask the question again?
Can't connect.
So could not connect.
I don't think so. I see him, but I don't see his, like, it's not like his.
Patrick, we're seeing you're trying to connect. If you can hear us, give it one more try here.
Yeah, is his last name Kamada?
I'm looking over that way because that way is where all the connections happening. But
I'm seeing Patrick is there. Patrick Commanda. Or is he calling him Commander of the Seas?
He's there.
There, he's on. Patrick Commanda. Come in.
There he is.
Hey, Patrick.
That's your log on.
Is that your?
Can you say something, Patrick? Can you talk? Can you hear us? Is your microphone working? Maybe he doesn't have a microphone. I think he's on, I'm not sure. I see David Fenn is watching, one of our board members. David, did you have any words for the group tonight?
Oh, hey, Todd. No, I just, I'm assuming you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Great. Yeah, no, I'm real excited about the amount that we raised this evening and the impacts that will have in the area. I'm also excited about the feedback that we get from the team headed over there and just assessing the situation and how that will help us shift where we may go strategically here in the future. So really excited. A lot to look forward to. That's it. And thank you.
So as we continue here, I was able to actually to see more people. Sierra is one person who logged on, and my goodness, we could not have achieved the success at Wine and Water without her. She's the super sleuth that I don't know whether it's garage sales or how it is, but she comes up with things that we auction that are beautiful gifts, and frankly, tonight raised a lot of money thanks to her effort. And so thank you, Sierra, for doing all that work, and we really appreciate it. I can
You're
also
very welcome.
see that Tom Griffin just poked his head in video, and Tom is a personal friend, and he also every year picks up something he doesn't need. I haven't looked to see what it is that he got this year that he doesn't need, but and I see the Kirkabys are here. they enjoyed one of the Marx Brothers meals last night, and they haven't seen whether you've been bidding on anything this year, but I know I delivered, I think, a coat last year. I can't remember. Yeah, but and Tom and Sheila, I see you're in and listening, and thank you so much for everything. So last year, Tom, you guys volunteered to donate the amount that would cause me to move from a normal position to tiers. I have bad news and good news, that if you want to do that this year, that I think that the number that would get me to tiers is probably somewhere close to $20,000, because that would mean we reached 200,000. So I'm not asking you for that. I'm just saying that last year we were so grateful to approach a number we never thought we would reach, which was that 65,000 that we reached last year, and I really was so moved and touched, and I'm no less moved and touched. I'm more flabbergasted at the generosity of so many people, and especially because we have the great privilege to having a person who is matching everything that I talked to lots of people, and they told me their motivation was in fact to step it up, because they knew their donation would go twice as far. And so it's been just a blessing to have that happen. And I'm just going to flip over here, say hi to my daughter. I can see she's not on video, but she's present. And hi to Ann Evans. I see she's there listening, or if not listening, sleeping. She's on the East Coast, but she's one of our board members, and that's exciting. And again, flipping through here, Greg's still there, and Mark says Mark's iPhone is that Mark, our board member, Mark? Okay, I put him on the spot, so maybe it is or maybe it isn't. But any other questions or any comments people have before we wrap up this evening?
Hey, Todd, this is Ann.
Hi,
I just
Ann.
want to say hi, and what a great evening. It's just been really exciting. I've loved hearing people talk and seeing old friends there. And it was delightful to hear Walter talking about the mobility carts and his connection with those. I wanted everybody to know that when those carts go over there, they're totally donated. The only thing that we end up paying for is just the transportation. So a 40-foot container contains about 200 of those carts. And if you can imagine, in those remote villages that people are crawling around on the ground, and all of a sudden they're able to move around
Hey, Tom, mute your mic.
and carry water and other items in their carts. So it's a real transformation of their lives. And I just wanted to be sure that people knew that, and to know that how a small amount of money on our part in a donation can make such a huge difference over there in really transforming lives. That's really what the Alaska Health Project South Sudan is doing. And it's such a wonderful thing that I just really am privileged to be a part of the organization. So thank you to everybody that's working on this project. And thank you to all of the donors who are reaching deep and giving from your hearts. It's a wonderful work. Thank you.
Safe travels.
And
Thank you so much.
This is Walt Hayes again with a closing thought. A few days ago, we lost a remarkable leader, General Colin Powell. I happen to be a member of Lions International, and I have attended 9 international conventions in the United States and Europe and Australia over the past several years. Every year we have a keynote speaker, In 2009, Colin Powell was our keynote speaker. Remarkable gentleman. And I was so pleased to hear this general and our former Secretary of State speak. This past week, when he passed away, NPR made a quote, which I think is well worth hearing. General Powell said that there are only three things that we can leave. One is our reputation, two is our good works, and three is our children. So I think those are words that resonate with us all. And I thank you, my dear friends, for your reputation and for your good works that have meant so much to these, our brothers and sisters in Africa. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So I guess unless we hear anybody raise their hand and have any comments or questions, Jack?
Yeah, I'd like to, Ann is on board here. She's the newest board member that we have. She's been a great addition, and she has extensive experience in South Sudan in the healthcare sector and construction of schools, consultancy with the government. She brings a lot of value to our board. So that's Ann. I just want to introduce you to the rest of the people here. A great addition to the board. And I'd like to say, Todd, you've done a great job since you've come on as the executive director. We applaud you. You are the driving force to make this thing come alive like you have over these past few years. Deeply appreciated, Todd. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I think I spent the bulk of my adult life out in the wilderness, basically filming glaciers and grizzlies and humpback whales, and trying to share and communicate the nature of Alaska and to create things, and feel like this is a lot the same. It's like we're trying to communicate and share with people a different part of the world, a great need that exists. And frankly, there's nobody else helping in the villages in the way we are helping. There are other NGOs working in the region, but there's nobody that quite does what we do. And so it's a very personal thing. We're helping, Denny hit it on the head too, that we're not going to change the world, but we are going to change some things in their world. And we meet a person that touches us, and we realize that our works and your donations and your gifts are going to change life for those people. And it's difficult work in terms of some aspects of it, but it's rewarding work, and so we feel privileged to be a person that can help make this happen. That I'm really grateful to the other parts of my family, my daughter Allie, my son Joe, his wife Heather, my soon to be son-in-law Wyatt, my former wife Jerry and her husband, because they're all contributing to work as a family to work in South Sudan, and we drilled one of those boreholes. And so we're touched by what we can do too. It's a great honor to do these things. But I guess unless somebody raises their hand or has something to say, I think we're going to wrap things up. And I can only see some of you. Let me go flip through and see if I'm missing anything. Elsa, I see you, Elsa Hobbs. She's been a volunteer forever, and unfortunately, most of what she's helped us with is when we do the in-person events, and that so we hope to see you in person. Hopefully see you in person, anybody. And I think we'll always do this. we'll always do a Zoom, but next time we'll do it a little bit tipsy because we'll have a glass of wine in our hand at an in-person event, and we'll be able to lift a glass and share our stories both to the audience as well as to a Zoom group of people. And I see Mildred's online. Mildred's one of our people that every year attends, and great to see her. And I can also say that we're at Frostline Productions, and we have a great team here. It's Richard Cooper's Frostline and Hannah Pratt and the others that really there were some glitches earlier, but none of those glitches are like real glitches. Those are more like Todd showed up at 3:30 with a hard drive and said, okay, load these in your computer, get everything ready, and do this. And so they performed miracles. I've got to say, that's so grateful, because I literally was on the phone with a donor at my house who had called to say that they were going to donate for a borehole. And then I looked at my watch to go, I got to take a shower, get dressed, load all this stuff up and drive to the place because I'm already late. And so for Richard and Hannah and the rest of the team, I just say thank you to them too, because they did a spectacular job of making sure this thing worked. And they certainly are, or we are in their debt for making this communication happen. So unless there's anything else that I can see, and I'm just going to flip one time more through. Anybody else have anything else? David Finn just said something. He said, much gratitude to all the donors. So another board member says, Alana, thank you, everyone. I think I haven't been able to read all the comments tonight, but we've achieved. Hey, Joe. Thank you, Joe, for the Elvis borehole. Thank you first for Elvis, because we wouldn't have a borehole for Elvis without Elvis first. But my son is, he knows how to produce things, and I'm going to ask him next year to come up here, and maybe he'll actually produce the event, multi-cameras, and because I think you could do that, couldn't you, Joe?
Sorry, I gotta go. I'm gonna dip out of here.
Anyway, and